300 laps, 394 to be specific, to determine who wins tonight's race, the seeding for the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup, and who gets the final positions in that group to run for the championship. Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Jeff Gordon bring the field to the green. For Jeff Gordon for leading a lap.
Well, I'll give him credit. He really had a lot of trust that there was grip in that second lane. He drove it off down into turn one.
Yeah, don't think for a second Junior gave it to him either. He was on the gas hard trying to get the lead on the go.
Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Clint Boyer, first three on the break. Fourth place on back, 78 Regan Smith with a lot of company. Denny Hamlin in the 11, Martin Truex Jr. in the 56, Jimmy Johnson in the 48. And for the lead. Earnhardt Jr. out in front. Denny Hamlin by Regan Smith. That'll be for fourth place. And for second, Clint Boyer to the inside of Jeff Gordon. Boyer in the 15. Kyle Busch trying to make his way forward from his 15th starting spot.
Yeah, the track has a ton of grip in it right now. We're running close to qualifying speeds these first few laps.
18 car trying to get the 11th spot from Mark Martin. Check that, the 10th spot for Mark Martin. Mark in the 55.
I have to say right now, if the drivers are finding something that's totally different, having that grip that you're talking about, Andy, makes the front stick, they're probably going to be talking about their cars being loose as Denny Hamlin takes the third spot from Jeff Gordon.
Well, that's a new setup on that 11 car tonight. I know it's still early for a decision on it, but in the early laps it's looked good.
There's not been many setups that Denny Hamlin has that make look good here, though.
Got a point.
And this racetrack will go through a change, so it'll be interesting to see will that affect what he's doing. His race car is awfully good right now. We know how good he is here. And boy, would he love to take 3 wins into the chase. 3 straight wins.
Truex Jr. by Regan Smith. Now Jimmy Johnson is going to pick up a spot. That'll put Johnson to 6th and Smith back to 7th. Sam Hornish Jr. in the 22 is on his back bumper now.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. is hoping the track doesn't change any. He is flying right now.
Ryan Newman, one of the guys who simply must win tonight to have a shot at racing for the championship, and it looks like he's got his hands full. He really had his hands full there. There's a little contact with Greg Biffle.
He got away with it. It was close.
Newman right now is running in 18th position. And again, his only chance to make the championship is to get up front and win this race. 22 Sam Hornish Jr. and 29 Kevin Harvick.
I think a resurgence with this 29 team with Kevin Harvick the last few weeks ran extremely well in a lot of laps last week in Atlanta. Kind of getting hot for the right time. They had themselves locked into the chase.
Hasn't won yet this year. Won the NASCAR Nationwide Series race last night, and part of the benefit of doing double duty at one of these races is experimentation and knowledge to be gained on things like tires and how the particular tire that's been brought to a race weekend performs under race conditions.
Yeah, there's a few things like that you can carry over, tire pressures and things like that. A lot of the setup stuff, though, is quite different, although the characteristics of the track really don't change.
Truex picked up a spot, and here's Kyle Busch working for ninth place on Kevin Harvick.
And we're talking about how good his teammate Denny Hamlin is at this racetrack. There's really nobody that's been better as far as an average finish than Kyle Busch. 4.7 at this racetrack in his racing. And Jeff Gordon can't see that competition yellow come quick enough. He needs to do some work on that 24 car if he's going to try to win.
just gave up 5th place. Early update on Jeff Gordon from Vince.
Well, you talk about the thought that this track would have grip in it early on, but Gordon has none of it. He is way too loose on entry and exit and a little too tight in the center. Crew Chief Alan Gustafson says they'll get him fixed up at the first stop.
So remember, if none of the Warn-Win drivers wins the race, then that last wild card spot would come down to points. And Kyle Busch had a lead on Jeff Gordon starting the night. Jeff would have to outrun Kyle under those circumstances by 13 positions on the track, basically. And right now, Gordon's going backwards, and Kyle is moving forward toward him.
Yeah, Harvick's giving him a bit right now, though. They're trying to get that upper lane working.
I've been trying to watch some other cars and see if they could make this second lane work. We didn't really see it happen where you could carry any speed last night in the nationwide race. Kevin Harvick is not giving up here on the high side. And I think with the more horsepower these cars have, that it's going to be a lane that's going to be needed before this night's over.
Role was kind of reversed last night. Ricky Stenhouse was running that high lane like that, and Harvick had to work many, many laps on the bottom to try to get by him. Maybe that's when Harvick realized there was some grip up there. Frustrated about being the guy on the inside. You know you got a little bit better car.
Yeah,
they'll make it.
Yeah, but you have to be careful, especially the entries to these corners, both getting down into turn 1, the high speed part of this racetrack, and down into 3. These cars will get extremely loose because you are having speeds up over 140 miles per hour.
Tony Stewart says this Richmond layout is the perfect layout for Sprint Cup cars. Designed and built by the legendary tractor owner Paul Sawyer between a race in the spring of 1988 and the September of 1988 race weekend. They knocked down the old Fairgrounds half mile, built this 3/4 mile layout that's been a hit with the drivers and the fans right from that very first race.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with Tony more as you see Kyle Busch finally able to make this pass. You really need to do that. You were talking about the frustration, and the other thing is then these other cars start closing in on you. You had some gap, and here they have caught up to you.
Casey Kane has been on the move since the start of this race. He's picked up 10 positions from the 21st spot on the grid, and now he's working on Kevin Harvick for another.
Yeah, he's got one of the fastest cars on the track. He's been dealing with traffic and watching lap times. He's as fast as the leader, Claude Dillon.
And remember, championship picture, what's at stake for Kane tonight. If he can move past Tony Stewart in points into the top 10, then the bonus points for the 2 wins he's gotten already this season will be his for the receiving for the championship. If you're one of the wild cards, you don't get those bonus points. Change for second. Denny Hamlin marching.
Yeah, he's been inching his way closer to Dale Earnhardt Jr. Just made that pass on Boyer. And that shot right there, just how stable the back end of that 11 car is off the corner. That's key here.
Yeah, that's what Denny Hamlin does so good. He carries that momentum, and he's so good with the throttle up off the corner. And he keeps the rear tires on his car really good by not spinning them, where a lot of other drivers are trying to get too much out of it, spinning the tires. But Denny's able to have speed, yet take care of his tires.
Another change there. Harvick slipping another spot back. Matt Kenseth moving around him, and Kenseth up to 11. 17 car.